Good morning. Hello there, Elisa. How are you? I was just sitting here reading the pre-comments from Robin Galloway. If ego is death, if ego death is what we're after, then why is self-worth important to anyone? Just curious. Why is self-love important if limitation of life is what we're after? Illumination. Oh, I can't tell what that is. Yeah, I'm going to have to actually sit back and just read that. I don't know if you all can see what somebody had already written here. Just some interesting philosophy. So, I hope everybody had a good night's sleep. So we can take that minute and take a breath. Listen to the sound of the cards. You know, it's funny. It's one of those things, again, where I came in this morning, and as a musician, sometimes I think when I'm up on stage, especially after you've been doing it for like years and years and years and years, as a musician, you think, what if I forget what I'm doing? Or I know how I practice so much before I go on stage that I make it look natural, like I've never practiced a day in my life. That's the point of performing, is making it look like, it's just effortless. People just say, oh, you're a natural, and then I get to say, well, I kind of put in my 10,000 hours. And it's the same with the tarot, though. It's like when you're a musician and you're up there, when I think about what the next note is, all of a sudden it's like I freeze. It's when you think when you lose that train. Playing music is a natural thing. You practice it, you have fun with it, and you get up on stage, and all of a sudden it's like you start thinking about it technically, and then all of a sudden you're not thinking about playing the music, you're thinking about the music. And so sometimes it's like that with the tarot. I pull out my cards, and I think, and that's not what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to let everything go. And just trust that it's like, even if when reading the cards, there is no message. No message is a message. And it's kind of like that with anything where we feel like we're just having that bad day. And it's not necessarily a bad day or like we're off our stride. It's just that's the bell curve. We have to have all those days where we're off our stride so that we know when we're doing really well. I know, weird stuff. But just thinking about that with the tarot, relaxing, letting my shoulders droop, and just letting letting things fall where they fall. I've done thousands of readings, and yet still sometimes you question. You know what I mean? So, listening to the cards like they're waves and letting our shoulders droop. Taking that breath. Let's see what the universe has for us today. Let's see if there's any tips or tricks or any angers or resentments. Things that we can focus on to try and make our lives, and importantly, the lives of those around us, just a little bit better. So, here are the 3 stacks. Each one of these are webs going out to the universe. Each one a different conversation. So, since I'm being so deep and philosophical with myself, actually, since I've been questioning stuff, let's see what's at the heart of all this. Let's take a look at what's right in the middle. Let's see what the universe has for us. Okay. Starting right off with reverse again, which is where we were yesterday. Yesterday we had 3 reversed. No, yesterday was all 4 were reversed. So here we have 6s. 6s are about that harmony, that improvement when we're more than halfway through. With wands, it's like a project or something like that. But it's, so here we have the 6 reverse where maybe things aren't moving along. And sometimes it can be discouraging, but things aren't moving along the way we want them to. And so 3 plus 3 equals 6. And here we have the 3 of coins reversed, which is when we do that start. And here we have the High Priestess again. Yesterday, I think we had the High Priestess in the same place, reversed. So again, what is it that we're not following through from yesterday? So when things aren't moving along the way that we want, and it's like 3 steps forward, 2 steps back, and trying to understand, and with the coins are the least intuitive card there is. They're the earth. They can be about money, they can be about health, they can be, they are the earth element. So we step back and try and analyze with our, we're not using any intuition when we're not actually trusting ourselves. So we come forward, we're not trusting ourselves, because here's the High Priestess, and it's showing that we're not going inside. So this is how things should be. This is how others have said things should be, and they're telling us. And we go forward with what they say, and it just doesn't work. And so here's where it doesn't work. We come back here, and again, we get up in our head, and we analyze, and all this other stuff. And again, we're blocking ourselves because we're not touching that inside part. We're not asking ourselves. This is all about the externals and other people. But what are we ignoring? This is like a cycle here. So here's where we start out with this planning and everything else. Everybody's got opinions, and we ignore what we're feeling. And so this shows we're ignoring what we're feeling. We come around here and we start over again, and things just don't seem to go right. And we come back here and we know we know it's not going to work, but we ignore our feelings again. I'm going to go back and relook at yesterday, because we had 2 majors yesterday also, and here we have 2 majors again. And so what's interesting with this, so the tower, people see the tower, we see the destruction, everything else, but I always say that it's the light of truth. The one thing that can destroy anything, well, my favorite example is that the one thing that can hurt worse than a lie, the one thing that can cause more pain than a lie, is the truth. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just, that's the truth. So this is showing us that behavior where we just sit there and we go in this cycle of what happens when we don't trust ourselves. Kind of like what I was just talking about. It's like getting in that mode as a musician. Here I am, and I start thinking about things. What builds this chord? What builds this? What's the next chord that's going to happen? What's the next verse? So when I'm playing guitar, my fingers are moving, and I'm singing all at the same time. I actually, when I've practiced that much, I can actually think about a third thing. So I'm singing, I'm playing, and then I start thinking about what the next words are. And again, that's a disaster. It should just come natural. It's not natural when I'm doing all this and I'm thinking. That's when I'm here, when it's like I'm not trusting to just let go. I can't let go. And by not trusting ourselves, if I don't let go, that's where the mistakes can happen. We know what's right or wrong. We know that when we're doing this, we get the feeling that we ignore. So this is what happens when we ignore the feelings and we just start that cycle. Ignoring feelings will perpetuate that cycle. The advice card is that it's saying that in this situation, it's vital that we trust our feelings. And as Marina's saying over here on YouTube, good morning. Well, good morning to you. I think of swords being the least intuitive. Yeah. Reason being in opposition to intuition. Think of seeds that grow in the earth. That's maybe more instinct than intuition. Yeah. I see coins as being... And I see exactly what you're saying. This is where I close my mind on, and I just kind of like do that intuitive thing. But you're absolutely right, and I can see that. I'm thinking about like with the money or the external things that go with when we're building stuff. You know, the coins are very conservative. So by the time you get to the 10 of coins, you have, you know, it shows what wealth could be like when you get to, you know, and so a lot of it's about being very conservative. So think of what I'm thinking of with this spread here is how conservative when we are not trusting our feelings. It's, you know, this person here, these people right here are expecting something to be made. And so they're telling us what to do. And it's like, I know that it would be better if we did it this way. But they don't know. We're the experts. I'm the master craftsman here. And you saying that you want this done this way, it just is not architecturally sound, and it just isn't going to look good, but they're insisting. And instead of saying anything, if we don't trust ourselves, we do what they want, even though we are the master craftsman. It's kind of what I'm thinking. It's like not following our instinct on this. And so creating that cycle where, you know, we start something. It's like if I'd only said something, then I wouldn't have to go back and do this. I used to weld for a living also. And it's kind of like this situation where a friend of mine was a bricklayer. And he knew that what he was actually building, what he was doing, was not. You know, they thought they knew what they wanted, but he knew that it wasn't. But instead of trusting himself, he did exactly what they said. And then they came back, and they wouldn't pay him until he tore it down and redid it. Not trusting. So for today, I believe it's one of those things where we know when to trust ourselves. We know that we should say something. This guy's even got that look. He knows he should say something before he makes that strike. And when you strike in stone, that's it. But he's like, are you okay? And instead of trusting the instinct, going inside, believing, I'm just seeing this as this big cycle, this wheel. You can go in either direction. Doom, 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 doom. I know this is what we should be doing. I mean, I know that we should say something. Our instinct, we don't trust it. Dink. And so here, where we thought we would have the Six of Wands and a victory, we're back here. I'm just seeing a big cycled wheel. Yeah, and the advice is just telling us, you know, that we should never, never ignore our insights, our feelings, what we know. So, with that, I hope everybody has an amazing day today. Or an amazing evening, amazing morning, wherever you happen to be. And with that, I will be here tomorrow again at 7:15. And Wednesday, we are doing the Two of Wands again. So Michael and I will be getting together and we are doing the Knights. So, and I see the cards as a personality. So we're going to take a look at the personality of the Knights. So with that, thank you all very, very, very much. And I, again, just hope you have an amazing rest of your day or evening. Thank you.